got an ultimate where any enemies that you mark, you will drop an artillery round on. There are cards to benefit your ultimate that I'll go into in a moment. Then he has a passive where he can mark up to 5 targets and they last twice as long. That's really nice with his ultimate because then you can mark 5 different locations and then drop it, and then any surrounding enemies in the immediate proximity will have the ultimate also hit them because it's got a little bit of splash. And with the ultimate, you want to make sure you active reload before you do it, and you want to active with whatever thing you have a custom for, whether it be the boom shot or the GL. I recommend boom shot. Going into the cards, this is my setup. So I have these 4, and then this slot I think is like the rotator. So going into what the cards do, you got Razor Hail, 30% explosive bleed. Just very good because this is an explosive based class. Spotter support, it allows your ally marks to also have artillery rounds drop. And with this card, if you or a teammate mark an enemy and then you or the teammate mark them like the second time, so say your friend marks something and then you look at it, you press your mark, it will, when you all do a double drop on it, and you can actually get, I think you can even get a triple drop, possibly even more, if you cooperate with your team and say mark this guy, everyone marks him, you might even be able to get like 5 drops on that guy. But I haven't tested that, but I know for sure you can get a double drop with this card if you both look at a target and mark them. So spotter support, you have 7 rounds. As you can see right here, artillery strike drops 5, and then officer's prerogative makes you drop an additional 6. So with officer's prerogative, you on your marks drop 11. On spotter support marks, you drop 7. So you don't drop as many with spotter support. So if you can, on bosses, you want to mark them, not your teammates. But I mean, if your teammates get the mark, that's perfectly fine. You'll do enough damage as long as you active reload. Custom boom shot's just really good because it increases the blast radius of the boom shot because that is the active effect, and then increases the damage by 60%. So it just does a lot of damage. It can one-shot drones, and then if you hit a bastion shield, then it'll hit the bastion and it'll bleed out as long as it's an active shot. It might do it with unactives, but I don't really fire on active shots, so I don't know. And then going into bullet boost, if you're a fan of the GL, this card is great, especially if you like to play GL maps, because the GL takes ballistic damage effects. So this gives you up to 200% increased ballistic damage, which makes it to where your GL will do 200% more damage, both the gun and the rocket part. So 200% GL damage is just a ridiculous amount. Like you can plant, 2 grenades, get a couple bleed kills, and then go rain some GLs onto a boss, and it'll do a lot of damage. But you got a free rotator card here, so you can put bullet boost there. Confirmed kill, also pretty good for the rotator slot. I don't really like this card too much though, because whenever I use it, I feel like I get my ultimate back slower than normal from like my boom shots. But it does do exactly what the card says. Every kill you get with your ultimate will give you cooldown to your next ultimate. Generally you can get like half, maybe 70% of your ultimate from this card, which is really good. But I just feel like, it's more freeing to have this off. But if you like confirmed kill, definitely run it. It's good. Concussive strike, also a good one. However, bosses don't really like this stun. Like, they don't really like to be affected by it. For example, matriarchs don't really care about this stun, like, at all. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes they just don't care about it. It is definitely a good card, and it has an interesting effect where even if enemies don't actually get hit by your ultimate, they will still get stunned by your ultimate. Like the stun effect has this shockwave that it does, and it doesn't do any damage, but it just does a stun wave, and it's pretty neat because you'd think, at least I would think, that it would only have the same range as the ultimate, so whatever it hits it would stun, but it even does stuff past its explosion radius, which is pretty good. You can also run this in the free card slot. Custom Lancer GL. I mean, if you want something more consistent than Bullet Boost, you could use this. I'm not, like, you don't need a GL. I've used just the Torque Bow and Boom Shot to prove a point because you don't need a GL. You could literally use any other explosive gun, you know, Torque Bow, Drop Shot. You don't need a GL, and definitely don't buy GL Swave 1. Don't be that guy, you know. Definitely a pretty good card. You could go for like a GL damage setup, but Demolition doesn't have any survivability, so running like Custom Lancer Bullet Boost and then try to shoot the GL with like the actual bullets or ballistics, it's just not very good because you can't take sustaining fire. But like for rocket damage, you know, that's 260%, and then you have the perk, so you'll have 310% damage for your GL, which that's pretty crazy, but I mean, I don't know, it's just not for me. You could definitely run Locker or GLs though, but I prefer Locker or 2 of Boom Shots. Gambit, I don't really recommend using this card because if you use these 2 cards, then you gotta give up one of these cards, and I don't think you should drop one of these. Because even randoms will mark. So then whenever they do, it's nice to have that additional drop. But I do typically have Grenade Satchel in my rotator slot, just so then whenever I kill myself, I can give my teammates grenades, and later in the game, I can hold on to 8 grenades, and then I can throw those if I can't do a boom shot swap for ammo. So then I'll just throw out a grenade instead. And I'll also sometimes plant 2 grenades at before the wave starts if I just use my ult, just to help get it back a little bit. I also cover, you know, certain areas that like I'm not particularly watching with my 2 grenades, and then I still have, you know, 6 more, so then it's pretty nice. Good kill. I don't really think this card has a use, like, because you don't typically kill enemies when they're near your teammates. They, you know, the enemies should be away from your teammates and dying. And even if your teammates are near an enemy when you kill them, it's not like, you know, it's an ammo pouch. It's not an ammo box. So it doesn't give like torque bow ammo, it doesn't give grenades. It's just a bad card because no one really needs it. Like, none of the classes really need ammo boxes. I mean, I guess if you have a marksman, but then, like I said, you know, you gotta have a teammate within, you know, 5 meters of the enemy that you kill. So then, kind of just sucks. I wouldn't use it. Inspired, I mean, you have 32% damage reduction, but like you don't have any increased health, you don't have any more DR, it's just this, and you have to be 10 meters from a vet. There aren't too many vets nowadays. I don't think you should use this card. And also, I feel like if you're a good enough demo, you can typically kill everything before it'll kill you. Kind of depends on the map, but you know, I don't really think this is a good card. Oops. Lancer GL Mastery. This was bugged to where it would give recoil reduction on everything. I don't know if that's still a thing, but I mean, like I said, you could go for something like kind of wacky. Like you could go for good kill, Lancer Geo Mastery, Inspired, Razor Hail, and then like Bullet Boost, or maybe drop a good kill, put on custom Lancer, and then have like a full-on Lancer build. It's okay. Like I have done that build where, well, not with Inspired and the good kill, but I've had Lancer Geo Mastery, custom Lancer GL, uh, Razor Hail, and Bullet Boost, and my fifth card was Officer's Prerogative. Like I've done that. It's okay. Like just not a fan. Launcher Mastery, don't use this card because if you use it, you'll get used to it, and then it'll just make you worse when you don't have the card. Like I said though, you do have a rotator, so you could put it there if you're really struggling to hit your actives, but it doesn't make you reload any faster, so I feel like it's just garbage, really. Demo's got one perk that you need, and that's it. He has ultimate cooldown, and past ultimate cooldown, you could really perk whatever you want. He has ultimate cooldown, ammo regeneration, assault rifle damage, and crit damage. You can do crit damage, but it doesn't boost GL rocket damage, and it doesn't really matter for the boom shot either. And then I forget which boss it is, but the crits on that boss, I think the Snatcher. I think on the Snatcher, the crits from your ult don't do any more damage with or without the perk. Or no, maybe it's the GL rockets don't have any increased damage against the Snatcher. Either way, you don't really need crit damage, you don't really need assault rifle damage, and you don't, yeah, you don't need those two. But ultimate cooldown and ammo regeneration are the two that I would suggest. Definitely go for 10 into cooldown before you get even like any into regen. Because ammo regen is like a thing. If you have extra power, go for it. Because like you have your locker of booms, you got 4 booms, 3 on the locker, 1 in your hands, and then your other gun is like a GL or a torque bow or a drop shot, and then you have ammo regen for that gun other than your boom shot, because otherwise you'll have to go pick up ammo boxes, and then your teammates need those ammo boxes. I mean, you could occasionally get them to stock up your grenades, but grenades are 500, and it's for 8 grenades, so I feel like you don't need to pick up boxes, really, for grenades. But yeah, ammo regen, ultimate cooldown, just shoot the boom shot, and that's about it for demo.